Hi everybody, it's me, Miss Theresa, and I'm here to do another movement art lesson with you today. Today we're going to learn about personal narratives, and I will show you a personal narrative dance that I've created. We'll see if you can identify the different parts of the dance story that I show you, and then we'll have a chance for you to learn it as well. We will need some supplies for our lesson today. You'll need something to write on. 1 or 2 pieces of paper should do, and two pieces maybe to be safe. Or if you have like a journal that you can use, that would work too. And you'll need something to write with, so a pencil or a crayon or a marker, any of those will work. You know, the first thing that we need to do to get started though is warm up. So please join me for our warm up. We'll stand up, push our chairs in, put our feet together, hands by our sides, and get ready to move. All right, guys, so we're ready for our warm up. Let's actually put our feet apart, and we will start with some isolations. And that means we're just moving one body part at a time. We'll start with our head gently side to side. Just kind of waking our body up. If your body was sleeping, if it's morning time for you, you might be waking your body up. Your body might already be awake. Let's circle the other way. You guys are following along with me. Good. Circle one way, circle the other way. Good. Let's give our shoulders a little wiggle. Let's see if our arms, we'll do a rotation move. We'll rotate with our arms a little bit. So rotation is a kind of turning that we're doing. And we have some joints in our bodies that can rotate. Let's rotate with our wrists. We'll do some rotations. Good. See if you can circle your wrists the other way. Good. What about your fingers? Probably do a circle kind of move with our fingers. Circle the other way. Ooh, it's hard to isolate those. It's tricky for me not to move my wrists. If I was just if I'm trying to, okay, anyway, move all my fingers. Shake out your arms. Good. Shake out your whole arms. That way it's your hands before your hands, your whole arms, your shoulders. Let's do some gentle torso moves from side to side. Belly's all nice and pulled up when I'm doing this one. That means I'm reaching those muscles right here up. Good. And we're going to circle forward, circle to the other side, and come back to center. Okay, now let's go to the other side. And forward, nice. Other side and center. Good, let's try that again. Side and circle and side and center. One more. Side and circle and side. Feeling pretty good with my torso. All right, our hips. So you might not be able to see mine, but you know where your hips are, right? Right here and right here. We're going to go side to side with our hips. Side to side and side to side. We're going to make a big circle with our hips, like a hula hoop. Other way. Thumbs up if you know how to hula hoop. I am not a good hula hooper. That's okay. Maybe one day if I keep practicing. Okay, let's bring up one leg and down. Good. Bring up your other leg and down, and bring it up and down. We're giving our legs a nice squeeze. Up and down. Good. Let's shake out one foot. I'm not sure. Yeah. Ooh, you can just shake it out low. You know where your feet are. Shake out the other foot. Shake out your whole body. Let's give a good stretch. We'll reach our hands up to the ceiling. We're going to bend our knees, looking up and arching back. Careful for objects around you and things around you like your desk. Don't bump anything on your desk, okay? Good. Folding forward a little bit if you have some room. And rolling up. Good. And let's warm up with some shapes. So I'll give you a count, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to make a whole shape, a shape using our whole body, our arms, our legs, our torso, and our head. We'll hold it still and strong. When I count to 3, you can make any kind of shape. Just make sure you're being safe. Not too fast. Watch out for your objects. Watch out for your friends. Here we go. 1, 2, make a shape on 3. Good. Let's try a different shape. 1, 2, make a shape on 3. Good. Oh, that's not a shape if I'm moving. 1, 2, make a shape on 3. Good. One more. 1, 2, make a shape on 3. All right, friends. Haha. Let's see if we can make some shapes using different levels. High level, middle level, and low level. I'll say 1, 2, make a shape on 3, but we'll make a high level shape first. Here we go. 1, 2, make a shape on 3. Ooh, I didn't really stay very still and strong. All right, let's try another one. Middle level this time. 1, 2, make a shape on 3. Good. Okay, if I do low level, you won't be able to see me, but low level is even lower than middle level. Let's try a low level shape together. 1, 2, make a shape on 3. Yep. And good, come back to neutral. This time we'll make a shape, we'll face different directions. 1, 2, and when I say 3, we'll make a shape, but you won't just face forward, you could face to one side or the other side or to the back or to the corner. 1, 2, make a shape on 3. Aha, every time we change directions. So we're facing in different directions. I think of it where my torso is facing. So my torso is facing this way. Next time my torso will be facing a different direction, okay? 1, 2, make a shape on 3. New shape. 1, 2, make a shape on 3. One more. 1, 2, make a shape on 3. Okay, that's using directions. All right, now, last bit for our warm-up. We're going to warm up with some locomotor moves and some non-locomotor moves. A locomotor move is a move that travels from one place to another place. A non-locomotor move is a move that does not travel. It stays in the same place. Okay, so we'll travel just side to side, and we might do a locomotor move around our desk too if you have space for that. All right, you guys with me? Let's start with a march move. Here we go, marching side. Change directions, marching side. Change directions, marching side. Change directions, marching side. Let's march around your desk if you have room. So we're kind of like, yeah, changing the way that we face. Okay, now change directions, march the other way. Awesome. Right behind your desk. Ooh, let's try a slide move. Side to side, slide, slide, and slide. Good, slide, 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 and tiptoe. And tiptoe, and tiptoe, one more, tiptoe. Very good. Now a non-locomotor move is a move that you do. We're moving, but we're not traveling. Good, let's try another one. A twist is a non-locomotor move. Good, let's try another one. A sway from side to side, sway from side to side. Sway. Okay, you try your own non-locomotor move. Ready, go. Awesome! Okay, guys, thumbs up if you are warmed up. Excellent. If you haven't already, let's go ahead and take out your journal or your paper that you're writing on. You can probably use one piece of paper, but maybe it might be good to have two just in case you need it. Okay, so we'll have our paper out on our desk. We'll have our writing utensil, right? Whether you have a pencil or a crayon or a marker, any of those will work. We're going to take those out. We're going to have a seat, and let's talk about personal narratives. Okay, guys, we should be seated and have our paper and our pencil or whatever we're writing on and with at our desks in front of us. And let's learn a little bit about personal narratives. So we're going to talk a little bit, and we'll also do some writing too. Okay, so a personal narrative, thumbs up if you know what this is. A personal narrative is a story, right? It's a story, so you guys probably know some story. You probably read some stories all the time in class. But it's a special kind of story that it tells a true story about you or about a person. So if you write a personal narrative, you are telling a story about something that really happened to you. So there are some similarities from personal narratives and, of personal narratives and fiction, right? So they have a lot of the same parts, but the reason they're different, one thing that is different is a personal narrative is a true story and a fiction is fiction. It's not true. It was something that was made up. So the things that it has in common, right, are a title, right? So the name of the story. They both have a setting. The setting is where and when. They both have characters. In a personal narrative, the characters, one of the characters might be the author or the narrator, right? The narrator is the person who is telling the story. And they also have a beginning, middle, and end. So one thing that we know that good stories do is it answers the 5 W's. So we'll go ahead and write the 5 W's down. Now you can write it like the way that I do, or you maybe there's a different way that you want to write it on your paper. You just want to make sure that you have some space between these. So the first W we'll write together is who. So a good story tells who. So I just wrote who, right? So the who would be the characters in the story. Who is the story about? That would be the main character. There may be other characters, other people, or sometimes stories can be about animals too. Animals can be characters. So a story is going to tell us who. That's a character. The next thing that it's going to tell us is what. So we'll go ahead and write what on our paper too. Here we go. Writing what. Oh, my handwriting is a little bit messy sometimes. I hope you can read it. I'll try to write legibly. Legibly means when you're writing something that someone else can read. Whoop. Okay. So that says what. So what is what happens in a story, right? And so that could be like what happens at the beginning, what happens in the middle, what happens in the end. So that's going to be our beginning, middle, and end. It's going to be the action, the thing that happens. The next thing that we want a story to tell us, a good story, it's going to tell us where did the action happen, right? Where is part of the setting of a story. A setting is where and also one of the other W's. It is when. When did the story happen? Did it happen in 1973? Did it happen at midnight yesterday? Did it happen in the autumn? Those are all part of the settings. Where, what place did it happen, right? Where and when tells us the setting of a story. And the last W is why. Okay. why did our characters do the things that they do? Okay, so now that we have written our 5 W's, I am going to show you a dance narrative. So you might not know this, but dances can do lots of different things, but one thing that they can do is tell a story, like a personal narrative. So there is such a thing called a narrative dance. Dance doesn't usually use words to tell the story. It uses what? It uses moves. That's right. So I'm going to tell you a personal narrative, but I'm going to do it with a dance. And I'm going to use elements of dance that we actually used in our warm-up. So if you've already seen the things that I'm going to use shapes. I'm going to change directions. I might use some levels, right? So I'll use all of those things to tell a personal narrative that is a dance, a movement narrative. Your job, you have 2 jobs. Your job, the first one is to observe as an audience member. So an audience member, when you're watching a performance, you use your eyes and ears. Voices also, you can really pay attention to what's happening, what's going on. Okay, so you're going to observe. And then I want to see if you can figure out what my 5 W's are for my dance narrative. So in the story, I'm going to try to show you who, what, where, when, and why with my moves. And I want to see if you can figure them out. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to write what you think, who you think the characters are, what you think happened, where you think it was, when and why. And if you can't guess it, if it's like kind of hard, just use your best guess, okay? All right, so I will show you that. I'll probably show you like 2 times so you can see it a second time. And while I'm showing you, your job is to watch as an audience member and to write to figure out the parts of my personal dance narrative. Okay, guys, so hopefully you might have gotten a clue or some ideas about the 5 W's in my personal narrative. Some things might not have been so clear. You might have had to have made some guesses, but let's take some time and discuss the who, what, where, when, and why from my personal dance narrative. So hopefully you already wrote some ideas down. You might still be writing a little bit, but when we talk about each one, your teacher may want to call on you to see who might have had an idea about one of our 5 W's. So let's raise our hands when I ask you about it. Your teacher can call on you. And so after that student shares, then I will tell you what I was thinking and what I was telling you about in my personal narrative story. Okay, so the who part is probably, you guys guessed that already. Let's see if somebody will give some time to answer. So if you said Miss Theresa, that's right. Since it's a personal narrative, I am the narrator. I'm telling the story. Or when we're doing it in dance, I'm performing the story for you, right? I'm doing the story for you. So since it's a personal narrative, it's about me personally. It's about this person right here. So if you wrote Miss Theresa, or maybe even just drew a picture of it, right? You don't need to know how to spell it. Just do your best. So I'm just going to go ahead and write Miss Theresa. So when we are telling a narrative, a dance narrative, that's me. When we're telling a dance narrative, we have some other tools that can help to tell us about the characters, about the who, right? In dance, a lot of times we'll use a costume, the dance costumes, if it's a performance like on stage. A costume's one way that could tell you like something about the person that the dance was about, that character. It might even be, like I said, an animal character, right? So costumes are another way in movement art, and that's like the clothes that you wear, right? That can give us a clue about the characters in a story. Okay, let's move on to what, okay? So the what part we already said was the beginning, the middle, the end of the story. Is what actually happens. So maybe you can think of something at the beginning. I'll write a little B for beginning, the middle, and the end. Or maybe just whatever you remember. Okay, so let's see who remembers what happened in the beginning of our dance. Does anybody remember? Okay. Well, the first thing that I did was a move like that. Could you tell what that was? That was a yawn move. So that was the beginning of the story. What about the middle? What are some of the actions that I was doing in the middle of the story? Okay, did you say making something? Okay, I was making something to eat. I was making something to eat. Okay, that happened in the middle. Making. I'm going to draw a bowl because it was a bowl of something. There we go. And what about the end of the story? Okay, and the end of the story, what? I ate it, and it was good, and I was happy, right? Okay, I was happy. So I ate my food. Now there were some other things that happened in there. We'll talk about them in just a second. You might remember, like, I definitely skipped some parts, right? But that's kind of just the basic beginning, the middle, and the end. There were some other really important parts that happened too. But let's go back to where. Let's go back to our W's. Where do you, okay, so obviously I'm not in a real different place, so you kind of can't really tell, but there might be some moves that could tell you where I might have been. So, where is a place that you might be making some food? Okay, if you guessed my kitchen, that's right. That's where this story took place. That's part of the setting, is the kitchen. Okay, yep. All right, so the other part of this setting is when. You could tell that I was in the kitchen because I was pouring some things. I had a bowl of something, right? And it was something that I could eat. So that's where we keep our food, is the kitchen. Other part of the setting is when. Okay. Were there any moves that gave you a clue when this story might be happening? I'll give you a hint. was the first move that I did? Do you ever yawn and stretch as the first thing that you do? It was the morning. So if you guessed it was the morning, that's correct. I'm going to draw a sun for the morning. Morning. That means that what I was eating was probably our what? My what? It was my breakfast. That's my breakfast. So it actually happened this morning. This story is about this morning. Okay. So we already said that I was yawning, that I was making breakfast, that I ate my food. Why do you think I did those things? So I'm the character, right? So when, where, that's our setting. Why? What made me do those things? I might have done a move already to show you why. What about this move? I was hungry. That's right. Okay. So I did use some of our elements of movement from our warm-up to make this dance, but instead of talking to you about it, why don't I show you and we try it together. So let's go ahead, quickly stand up. Push, you can put your pencils, pens down, push chairs in, and we're going to try to do my personal narrative together. Okay, so the first move that I did, remember at the beginning of our personal movement narrative, was a yawn and stretch. Let's try that move together. Now that was a non-locomotor move, and we even did some stretching in our warm-up as well. So it is a non-locomotor move because it stayed in one place, and it was also a stretch, which is an important part of a warm-up, right? Okay, the next thing that I did was this move. What kind of move was that? A locomotor move. Are you guys trying this with me? Okay, let's start from our non-locomotor move to the locomotor move. That kind of move, me shuffling around like that, was shuffling to the kitchen. Okay, the next move that I did was a jump move, and I put my hands on my belly. Then I did an isolation. That means we move just one part at a time. With my head up like that. Let's try that. That jump move and isolation head. What do you think that move was about? That move was supposed to show you, this one's a gesture, and it's a non-locomotor move, that I am hungry. Okay, so I'm going to go to the kitchen. This gesture means I've got a bowl. This move was to show you that it was round like a bowl. I got some oatmeal. I poured it in. I got some milk. I poured it in. I thought about what else I would like. You guys are doing it with me, right? What else would I like to put in my oatmeal? What about blueberries? I got an idea. That's a gesture and a non-locomotor move. So I went over to my refrigerator, opened it up, grabbed some frozen blueberries, closed it back. Those are all locomotor moves or non-locomotor? Non-locomotor moves. I'm staying in one place. But I did do a locomotor jump, and I changed what? Direction. I changed the way I'm facing. So I opened it up. You guys with me? You doing it with me? We grab the bag of frozen blueberries. We close the fridge. We unzip it. And then we poured a lot of blueberries into our oatmeal. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Non-locomotor, non-locomotor. That's right. Let's zip it back up. Let's change our direction again. Open that fridge. Put the bag back. Close that fridge. All right. Got my bowl. Now I'm putting it in the microwave. And you could tell it was the microwave because boop, 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 boop. I was setting the timer. And now I'm waiting that time. That was a little clue. And this move, ding, meant that my oatmeal was ready. So I opened it up. I grabbed my bowl. I closed the microwave. I looked at the bowl. And this was my next move. I used a slow isolation with my head. And then turn this way. Because my oatmeal was purple this morning. It was some purple oatmeal. So I didn't know what to think about that because it kind of looked a little gross. But I thought I made this whole thing of oatmeal, so I might as well try this bowl. So I grabbed my spoon and I took a bite. And it was pretty good. So I ate the rest of it. And then I wasn't hungry anymore. That was my personal dance narrative. I hope that you guys had fun with it. And I hope that you had fun today.